shadows fall, I'll be beside you whenever you call. When worries weigh heavy and fears take flight, I'll be your strength, guiding through the night. And when the days are dark and heavy on your heart, I'll be the voice to guide you through the dim. Strong walls may crumble, but within you've got the spark. Just turn the key, let light dissolve the grim. Did you think you were alone in your feelings? Strike a match, let your inner strength be seen. Welcome to all things serious. In the depths of your despair, where demons roam, I'll be the hand to hold. You're never alone. When storms rage fierce and winds blow strong, I'll be the shelter in your soul where you belong. Welcome to all things serious.
Hello, everybody. How we all doing today? Let me adjust this. I don't like this setup. I don't like that one either. There we go. I like that one better. So, Kip Kitty, how you doing? April T, how you doing? So, before I get talking on the subject of rage disorder, I got a few things I want to share with you guys. I have new emojis in chat. So in the comments below where you can post a comment, next to it you'll be able to pick emojis. Okay, and there's 3 of them. There's how you doing, there's you matter, and then there's the mental health ribbon, the green ribbon for mental health matters. So you can use those emojis in chat. If you see new people come in, just type in how you doing. Just use the emoji. If people are stressed out and you want to use the emoji, you matter, you can. The green rip. Yes, you got it, Kip Kitty. So before the live gets going, I want to shout out. A few days ago, I was live and I had it end it abruptly because my father was reaching out to me. He had a procedure done today on his heart. They were looking for a hole in his heart and they didn't find one, so that's a good thing. But for some reason, at some points in the day, he blacks out, and it's from his heart condition. And they're trying to figure out what's wrong. Random, how you doing? So only time will tell. Hopefully they can figure out what's going on. But he's doing all right now. That's the reason why I am late on this live. I had to schedule it as soon as I got home. So now a subscriber reached out to me to cover this subject, rage disorder. I'm sorry to hear that, Random. I hope all is well. So I was looking up rage disorder, and trying to figure out, never heard of it before. And this is a new disorder for me because, so we're going to go over this. I didn't know rage was a disorder. It's called intermittent minute, intermittent, intermittent explosive disorder. So, rage disorder, also known as IED, is a mental health condition that involves impulsive, aggressive, and violent outbursts. These outbursts are disproportionate to the situation and can include verbal or physical aggression. Symptoms: unplanned, impulsive outbursts of anger, verbal arguments, temper tantrums, or fights, physical assaults on people or animals, property damage, road rage, domestic abuse, throwing or breaking objects. Causes: IED can be genetic and tends to run in families. Growing up in a household with similar behaviors, such as physical or verbal abuse, can increase the risk. Traumatic childhood experiences can increase the risk. Rody Gal, how you doing? So let's talk about the symptoms. Impulsive attacks and angry outbursts occur suddenly with little or no warning. This usually lasts less than 30 minutes. These outbursts may occur often or be separated by weeks or months. Verbal outbursts or less severe physical attacks may still occur between these times. You may be irritable, impulsive, aggressive, or angry most of the time. Before an aggressive bout, you may feel rage, irritability, more tension and energy, racing thoughts, tingling, shaking, fast and pounding heartbeat, chest tightness. The explosive verbal and behavioral outbursts are much too intense for the situation, with no thought about what might happen as a result. The outbursts can include temper tantrums, long, angry speeches, heated arguments, shouting, slapping, shoving, or pushing, physical fights, property damage, threatening or harming people or animals. You may feel sense of relief or tiredness after the outburst. Later, you may feel guilty or sorry for your actions or embarrassed. When to see a doctor: if you recognize your own behavior in the description of IED, talk to your doctor or other healthcare professionals about treatment options. You might even have to take therapy. Causes: IED, intermittent explosive disorder, can begin in childhood after the age of 6 years old. Sarah, how you doing? Angel, how you doing? Or during the teenage years. It's more common in younger adults than in older adults. The exact cause of the disorder is not known. It may be caused by the living environment or learned behaviors, genetics, or difference in the brain. Living environment. Most people with this condition grew up in families with explosive behavior, and verbal and physical abuse were common. Children who see and go through this type of violence at an early age are more likely to have these same traits as they grow up. Genetics. Genetics may play a role. There could be a gene related to the tendency to react more easily to stress. This gene may be passed down from parents to children. Differences in how the brain works. There may be differences in the structure, function, and chemistry of the brain in people with IED compared with that of the brains of people who do not have the disorder. Risk factors. These risk factors raise your risk of developing IED. History of physical abuse. Being abused as a child, being bullied, or going through other disturbing, shocking, or painful events can raise the risk of having IED. History of other mental health conditions. Having antisocial personality disorder or borderline personality disorder may raise the risk of also having IED. So can having other disorders that include disruptive behaviors such as ADHD. Problems with alcohol and substances also can be a risk factor. Complications. People with IED have a higher risk of problems with relationships. Others often think that people with intermittent impulsive disorder are always angry. Verbal fights or physical abuse can happen often. Those actions can lead to relationship problems, divorce, and family stress. Trouble at work, home, or school. Complications of IED may include job loss, school suspension, car accidents, money problems, or trouble with the law. Problems with mood. Mood disorders such as depression and anxiety are often occur with IED. Problems with alcohol and substance use often occur along with IED. Physical health problems. Medical conditions are more common and can include, for example, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, ulcers, and ongoing pain. Self-harm. Self-injury or attempts sometimes occur. Prevention. If you have intermittent explosive disorder, prevention is likely beyond your control unless you get treatment from a mental health professional. After you start treatment, the following plan and practice. Follow the plan and practice the skills you learn. If medicine is prescribed, be sure to take it. Do not use alcohol or substances. When possible, leave and avoid situations that upset you. Also, scheduling personal time to allow you to lower your stress may help you to better handle an upcoming stressful or frustrating situation. Willow, how you doing? So I had a subscriber reach out. They were going through a situation and they talked about rage disorder. You know, and we have covered many different types of mental health issues. You know, and some are hot topics, some are traumatic topics, some are H. Davis, how you doing? Some are related topics. You know, there's the thing is, right, is as I learned along the way, you know, when you have trauma in your life, it causes so much to the human brain, and we don't acknowledge it. People who haven't experienced trauma or understand depression and mental health, they don't understand the struggle. Mo, how you doing? So I'm glad I can be here and we can talk about different topics, you know, and push different ideas and share stories. You know, I've never had IED. I have had anger problems, but it was never explosive. It was just built up because I would bottle it up inside me. Now there's an outlet. Music, art, journaling, talking. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I really do. Take care, Willow. Have a good day. So I'm going to drop the link, and if anybody wants to come up on panel, you're more than welcome. More than welcome to join me on panel. Lisa, how you doing? So you go to the doctor on Monday, and we'll be scheduled for a sleep study since the seizures are so bad right now. That's a good thing that they're doing a sleep study. That is a good thing. I am glad to hear that. I'm glad. Let me see. Cycles of rage. Let me look at this. Cycles of rage. Can you explain, April T? It talked about symptoms. It talked about unplanned impulsive outbursts of anger, verbal arguments, temper tantrums or fights, physical assaults on people or animals, property damage, road rage, domestic abuse, throwing or breaking objects. I don't think there's a cycle. I'm looking and I'm not seeing anything with cycle. You have, okay, so, ooh, you have different types of rage. You have disassociative rage. When one pathologically anger due to chronic disassociation or repression of existential or appropriate anger. Let me let me see. Is rage a form of psychosis? Anger and fear are core emotions associated with psychosis that may be causes or effects of psychosis. I can't see your face. Give me just a moment. Can I help you? Hello?
Hello, I'm from Denmark.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Do you know anything about rage disorder?
Yes, I'm very rage myself right now.
What do you struggle with?
Um, that's a long one, but like I'm alcoholic, gambling, cocaine, weed, addicted.
And have you reached out for help?
Yes, I have help. I have help right now, and I'm getting the help.
Are you drinking right now?
Yes, sir. I am enjoying the beer. What about yourself?
So, do you have an email address? I'm going to drop my
Yes.
email address in chat, and I
Why?
want you to reach out to me because I
Why?
can't have anybody that's drinking on panel. Okay?
Okay, okay. I see. I see. Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't know that, man.
Yes. Come in
All
the
good.
chat.
I didn't
Yes.
know.
Okay, I see what you're saying, April. Can one of my mods drop my email in chat, please? And if Denmark Andy is still watching, send me an email. I would like to reach out to you in the background and have conversation. I really would. Can one of my mods drop my email in chat, please? Thank you. Thank you. At least he openly admits that he has problems, and that's a start. The next step is getting the help. And that's the hard part. Is reaching out for help and quitting what you do. That's the hard part. Because once you stop, you're a totally different person. Okay? There's going to be a change. There's going to be a change in your brain, and you're going to learn a whole new thought process. That's awesome to hear, Mo and Company. That's awesome to hear. I was an alcoholic for 15 years, and I quit drinking. And a part of me, when I first stopped, wishing I didn't stop because I enjoyed it. Okay. I enjoyed the feeling because there are some days where it is rough. It is rough to deal with life, but I get through it. I get through it and I do it. You know, yes, Lisa, that is a good point, Lisa. I've heard a lot of people say one of the worst parts of stopping is the boredom. You can be pretty bored. You can be. Yes. That's the reason why you got to create activities, coloring, drawing, listening to music, dancing, going outside. You know, you got to change what you're used to normally doing. You know, you got to change your routines. And that's what's difficult is change. Change is difficult. And some people are afraid of change. And that's understandable because most of us are afraid of change. But sometimes change is for the better. Change is for the better. If things are not going good in your life, change. Change who you hang out with. Change what you're used to doing. There's nothing wrong with changing. If like going to therapy, that's a change. You know, Talking about what makes you angry, you know, and finding a resolution, that's changing. Some of us are too comfortable, and sometimes that's not healthy, being too comfortable. All right, Kib Kitty, you take care. Thank you for being here. So, you know, change, when I talk about these, yes, change is the fear of the unknown. That's understandable because you don't know what's going to happen, and that's fear. So, I I've made a lot of changes in life recently, and trust me, some of these changes were very depressing, and I'm dealing with it. I'm working through it. I'm getting there. It just takes one step at a time. Some steps are not going to be easy, and you just got to work through them and don't give up on yourself. You know, the unknown. Sometimes in life, you got to take different paths. Too many people aim for the easy way out. Sometimes you got to climb that wall to get to the other side. Sometimes you got to climb that wall to get to the other side. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you got to pick up the sledgehammer and break through that wall. A lot of us build a wall around us because we're too comfortable and we don't let people, places, or things in. We don't let people in because we're afraid to, because we're afraid of change. Sometimes we got to start breaking down that wall and opening it up. And that's when you find who you are. And if you're struggling to change, it's understandable. Change isn't easy. So, would anybody else like to come up on panel and hang out? Yes, Random. The first step is the hardest on changing regarding anything in life. That is so true. So true. And sometimes we need to take that step to improve things around us because sometimes life is a struggle. It's like being stressed out. Why are you stressed out? Figure out what's causing you to be stressed out and make a change. And maybe being stressed out, you won't be as stressed about that situation once you make that change. So, so let me see. I've had to make a few changes recently in the past. You know, has it been difficult? Yes, it does. I think rage coincides with domestic violence too. You know, I when I was younger, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm not ashamed to admit it. When I was a child, I had anger issues. I don't know if I had rage disorder, but I had. You're welcome, Mom. You're welcome. I had anger issues as a kid, and I went through anger management when I was younger. I was like 18, so I wasn't really a kid. I was a teenager, and I went into anger management. Okay, random. You know, and sometime anger management, if you have anger issues, it's good. It's good. So, does anybody else here struggle with anger? Yes, Mo, you can. I give you permission. I give you permission to do it. Share it. Share the info because it's important. It's important. And anything, that relates to mental health or anything, it's important. So, yeah, overstressing is not healthy. Stressing is not healthy. Overstressing is not healthy. Today's been a long day. Today has seriously been a long, long day. I was in the hospital today. You're correct, Lisa. You're correct. You are so correct, Lisa. You know, um, I had this live scheduled and I totally spaced that this morning. I was supposed to be up early and go with my dad to have a procedure done at the hospital. So I was up late and like I had this whole live, I was like, I got home late. My dad's fine. It was a quick procedure. They couldn't find what they thought he had. So it was good. What's going on, Vibe? How you doing? So a lot of people who have anger issues have no self-awareness. That is correct. That is correct. A lot of people who have anger issues have no self-awareness because they're not in the right state of mind. But the thing is they have one thing I learned growing up, okay? And I had to teach myself this. I had to teach myself the 3 C's: calm, cool, and collective. And what that means, calm, cool, and collective. What does that mean? It means instead of exploding and getting upset, stay calm, keep your emotions in check by being cool, and collect your thoughts and think about it before you react. Calm, cool, and collective. The 3 C's. Yes, control over your emotions. And it took me years to practice that. It took me years because I grew up in I had a very violent life, being physically abused and then living in the projects and always getting into fights. And I lost like 90% of them. I won one. So 99% of them because it was never fair. So I was a very angry person, very angry. I don't think I ever had rage disorder. I probably did at one point. Who knows? Who knows? Reading the things that the symptoms, I probably had it at one point because I used to get angry and break my stuff. I used to have outbursts of anger, verbal. When I was a child, I used to throw tantrums. So, and I'm admitting it, no one's perfect. You learn along the way, especially when you get help. Sometimes we struggle. Sometimes we do. The struggle is real. Struggle is real. So, tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about childhood trauma again. Because it's important that I talk about it and it's covered. It's very important to talk about because there's people out here that are still going through it. And there's people out here that are alone and they need to know that they're not alone. Whatever you're struggling with, you're not alone. Just so you know, whatever you're struggling with, you're not alone. And we all struggle with something. And we're afraid to talk about it. We're afraid to reach out. But once you reach out, you'll no longer be afraid. Once you talk about that struggle, you're not alone. Because there's people out here going through similar struggles. I don't want to sound repetitive, but I'll repeat it over and over again. You're not alone. Yes, we do, Vibe. We do carry that trauma our whole life. We do. And the hard thing about it is dealing with it and facing that trauma and moving forward. Not moving on, but moving forward. Because some of us that don't get help relive that trauma over and over again. I did for a long time. You know, I'm just glad that I have met like-minded people and I became acquaintances and friends with people. Suzanne Nickler, welcome in. She asks, what advice do you have for a family member dealing with a loved one that refuses to get help? That's difficult. And I'll explain why. Because there was a time in my life that I refused to get help. People said I needed help. And I used to say, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need help. When in reality, I did. But at that time, I denied it. I denied needing therapy. I denied it all. And then I had a breakdown. And I went and got help. I admitted myself into the hospital. So it's hard. It's hard to correct. You can't force it. You know, you can't force somebody to get help. But you just got to let them know that you're there. Don't feed into it, whatever the situation is. Can one of my mods drop my email address in chat, please? And Suzanne, if you want to reach out to me, email me, and we can talk through email or whatever, I'm more than willing to conversate and share ideas. and share my story and whatever helps. I don't know the situation. It's a tough situation. Even in the 90s vibe, in the 90s, we were told, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Okay, what are you talking about, Eric the Great? You got me lost, Eric. I'm reading what you're saying. I wouldn't come in saying some of the things you say. Just saying. Mo, can you remove those comments, please? So, this is a channel where we talk about mental health. Yeah, it's about that, it's getting close to the end of my live. Thank you for being here, Lisa. But Susan, if you got my message, send me an email and we'll conversate so I can get an understanding of the situation. I don't mind helping. I don't give advice on what to do and what not to do. I just share experience. I don't ever tell anybody what to do or what not to do because it's not me. I'll listen to your story and I'll share my opinions, but I'll never lead anybody in the wrong direction. Because if I told you what to do and you did it and it didn't work out, who are you going to blame? The person that told you to do it. I'm not an expert. I just know what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I know my struggle. It can be, Susan. It can be mentally draining. I had a friend, I still have a friend that struggled with addiction. And I used to get on his case. You need to stop. You need to get help. And I kept telling him, FSU girl, welcome. So Susan, send me an email and trust me, because I understand. You just got to be there to listen. Let them know that you're willing to listen. Give them an ear. You know what I'm saying? I was 30 when I dealt with my childhood trauma. One-eyed Flo, how you doing? I was 30 when I dealt with my childhood trauma. And, and it's going to be a struggle every day. You're going to learn new things. Just because you're 56, by the time you're 66, you're going to be like, well, I feel like a different person. Talking about your struggle is important. Getting it off your chest is important, because the more you talk about what's eating you up inside, the better you will feel. If you bottle it up and you hold on to it, one day you're going to snap and you're going to do something you regret. And that's something I don't want for people to go through. Been there and done that. If you're struggling with something, email me, reach out. I'll listen. I'll share my opinion if you want my opinion. I'll share my whole story with you and what I went through and how I got help and what it's done for me. One of these days, okay, I'm going to have somebody up on panel interviewing me, and I'm going to break down my whole childhood and everything I've been through. Everything. So you guys will learn how I was able to handle what I went through. And maybe it'll help you. I used to get told the same thing, Vibe. I used to get told the same thing, to man up. Suck it up, Buttercup. You're a man. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you can't have emotions. Real men cry. Real men talk about their problems. So, I'm 43. Some days I'll be live talking to you guys and I'll even get emotional. Reading some of the comments of what people go through and what they're dealing with. Because I can feel the pain. I miss being on camera, live streaming, so people can see me, instead of seeing an icon, an avatar. Once my internet gets better and I have fiber optic internet, you'll see me on camera. See my reaction when I talk to you guys. When that, just waiting, just waiting. It does, one-eyed Flow. Being an empath has its moments. Being an empath has its moments. Because when you're an empath, You wish you could just take away people's pain and their struggle. You wish you could, and you can't. But you know what helps being an empath? It helps the person that's struggling with it to talk about it, and you just being an ear to listen. Because some people, all they need is somebody to just listen. Sometimes you just want to call somebody and cry your heart out. And all they need is that person to listen. They don't need feedback. They just need to be heard. And that's the reason why I created Discord. That's the reason why I give my email address out. You know, and so people can reach out and be heard. So the next couple of months, I used to have an alternate phone number for all things serious. But once I'm still working on getting financially stable again and situated. And once that happens, I'll be getting another phone specifically for all things serious. And then I will, yeah. And then what I do is I give my number out to certain people where they can call me. Yeah, it's a Google phone number, but I don't like tying up my cell phone. So I have two phones, and I don't have a second phone right now. So that's what I do. But it was nice being here with you guys. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. And those of you who are in the bushes, thank you for listening. You matter. You all matter. Just remember that. You're not alone. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow, 4:30, 5 o'clock, around that time. Childhood trauma. Thank you for being here. And I love you guys. If you didn't already know that. All Things Serious is out, my friends.
Let's talk about the mind for a minute. The kind of battles fought, you don't just win it. It's a war zone inside, no camouflage. Every thought's a grenade, sitting ready to barrage. Growing up, they said man up, but never speak up. So I bottled it all, like a shaking soda cup. Pressure building inside, I could feel it crack. But the world outside only sees the mask, not the fact. Depression knocking at the door, anxiety's my guest. They invited themselves in, now I'm under duress. But mental health ain't a weakness, it's the strength to own. Every scar, every tear, every struggle we've honed. It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice. It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice. Seamless like a shadow, it follows you around. But I'm breaking the silence, gonna tear it down. Got therapy sessions, journaling pages, finding peace in the chaos, flipping life stages. Self-love's a journey, not a destination. Gotta navigate the pitfalls, find your elevation. No shame asking for help, we all need a hand. Together we rise like a hip-hop band. So let's rewrite the narrative, redefine the game. Mental health ain't just a buzzword, it's our flame. Illuminate the darkness, spark the conversation. All things serious and mental health, a powerful nation.